Good evening, all of you. I hope you all are doing well. And today we're going to study the medieval history, Maratha Kingdom. Okay, we're going to study complete Maratha Kingdom through the MCQs. Okay, let's start the session. Our first question: what was the stake in the agriculture production in the land revenue system of Shivaji? Shivaji, we all know, right? Very famous king of Maratha. So, what was the stake in the agriculture production in the land revenue system of Shivaji? What is the answer? Can anybody guess what is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, 40%. Okay, so the agriculture production, it was a very big economical unit during the Shivaji period. Okay, so the stake in the agriculture production in the land revenue system of Shivaji was 40%. Okay, so 40% agriculture stake was there for the government side. Okay, so remember that. Next, who was the Maratha chieftain who captured Lahore and brought Punjab under the Maratha supremacy for a short period? Okay, what is the answer? Vishwas Rao, Balaji Vishwanath, Sadashiv Rao Bahu, Raghunath Rao. Who was that Maratha chief who captured Lahore and brought Punjab under the Maratha supremacy for a short period? What is the answer? Any guesses? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, Raghunath Rao. Okay, Raghunath Rao, he was the Maratha chief. He captured the Lahore and brought that whole Punjab under the Maratha supremacy over a short period of time. Okay, next. What was Paga in Maratha administration? So what was Paga? What was Paga in the Maratha administration? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is state dependent soldiers. Okay, so pagas are nothing but the state dependent soldiers. Those are called as pagas in the Maratha administration. Okay, so not independent soldiers, not professional soldiers, not the soldiers of other country. So paga means what? State dependent soldiers. They are all dependent on the state for their livelihood purpose. Okay, so those are called as state dependent soldiers. Next. This chief pays his spies liberally, which has greatly helped his conquest by the correct information they give. Who gave this account of Shivaji? So they are talking about some spies. Okay. So what is the answer here? Again, I will repeat the question. This chief pays his spies liberally, which has greatly helped his conquest by the correct information they give. Who gave this account of Shivaji? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is B. Answer is Abby Care. Okay, Abby Care. So this was the spy who gave the lot of information to the Shivaji. Okay, so remember Abby Care. Because of this information, he conquered lot of the kingdom. Okay, next. Which one of the following wives of Shivaji became Sati? Which one of the following wives of the Shivaji became Sati? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is Puttabai. Okay, Puttabai or Puttabai. So this wife of the Shivaji, she became the Sati after the death of Shivaji. Okay, remember her name, Puttabai. Next, the English ambassador who had attended the coronation of Shivaji with presents from East India Company at Raigarh was. Who was that? An English ambassador who had attended the coronation of Shivaji with the presents from East India Company at Raigarh. What is the answer? Which English ambassador was there at that time during the coronation of Shivaji? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is Oxenden. Okay, so remember his name, Oxenden. So he was the English ambassador. He had attended the coronation of Shivaji with presents from East India Company at Raigarh. The coronation of the Shivaji that happened in the Raigarh. Okay, so this English ambassador, Oxenden, he attended that coronation. Okay, next. Which fort ceded by Shivaji to the Mughals by the term of the Treaty of Purandar that happened in 1665 AD could not be won back by Shivaji? I repeat the question. Which fort ceded by Shivaji to the Mughals by the term of the Treaty of Purandar, which could not be won back by the Shivaji? So which was that fort? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, Shivneri Port. Shivneri Port ceded by Shivaji to the Mughals by the term of the Treaty of Purandar. So Treaty of Purandar, you need to understand here, it's happened between the Maratha King Shivaji and with the Mughals. Okay, because Shivaji, he always had the rivalry with the Muslim rulers, right? So that is well known fact. So because of that, when they fought with each other, this Treaty of Purandar happened in the 1665 AD. Then according to the terms and conditions of the Treaty of Purandar, this Sivaneri port is ceded by Shivaji to the Mughals. So which he could not be won back during the term of Shivaji. Okay, so remember Sivaneri port. Next, what was Bargir in Maratha army? What was Bargir in Maratha army? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is cavalry. Okay, so Bargir was the royal cavalry of the Maratha army system. There were two kinds of cavalry. One is Bargir and another one is Siledars. Okay, so cavalries. So here you need to remember two names. Two royal cavalries were there in the Maratha army. So one is Bargir, another one is Siledars. In exam, they might ask Bargir or Siledar, or they might ask both. Okay, so these two related to what in Maratha army, that like that the question might come. So you need to remember these are nothing but the royal cavalry. The Bargirs were provided horses from the state, and the horses were property of the royal households. Okay, and were looked after the state officers. This is all about the Bargirs. So what about the Bargirs? They were provided with the horses. Okay, so next comes to the Siledars. They used to keep their own horses. Okay, so that is the main difference between the Bargis and the Siledars. So Siledars will be keeping their own horses, but Bargis, the state is itself giving the horses for them. Okay, so that is the main difference. These two are the royal cavalries under the Maratha army. So you need to remember those names. One is Bargir, and one is Siledars. Okay, next. Who among the following was the first Peshwa of Shahu? It's a very simple question, right? What is the answer? Who among the following was the first Peshwa of Sahu? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A, Balaji Vishwanath. Very simple question. Why are you not giving answer? See, Balaji Vishwanath was the first Peshwa of Shahu. See, after some moment in the Maratha dynasty, what happens? The Sahu, system will come. So Sahu will be like a supreme king, and below them there will be different Peshwas. Okay, so Peshwa is like a prime minister, Shah is like a president. Such kind of system will come later on under the Maratha period. So that we studied during the Maratha kingdom, right? So Balaji Vishwanath, he became the first Peshwa of the Sahu. So Balaji Vishwanath assisted the young Maratha Emperor Sahu to consolidate his grip on a kingdom that had been racked by civil war and persistent attack by the Mughals under the Aurangzeb. So this Mughal Aurangzeb as well as Maratha, they always had the lifelong rivalry. Okay, so they never, united together. They always fought with each other. Okay, so under the Sahu, who was the Peshwa at that time? Balaji Vishwanath. In fact, he was the first Peshwa under the Sahus. Okay, so remember that. Balaji Vishwanath. Okay, many Peshwas will come. At least you need to remember who is first. Okay, Balaji Vishwanath. Who was the founder of Maratha dynasty? What is the answer? Who was the founder of Maratha dynasty? What is the answer? Simple, right? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is P. Shivaji. It's a very simple question. Shivaji was the founder of Maratha dynasty. The Maratha Empire, also spelled Maratha. Okay, sometimes it is called as Maratha Confederacy. All are same. Okay, so Shivaji was the founder. It was founded by Chhatrapati Shivaji in 1674 when he carved out an independent Maratha zone around the Pune from the Bijapur Sultanate. Okay, so he developed his independent kingdom, that is Maratha kingdom, by the Bijapur Sultanate. Okay, so he started from Pune itself. That was the Maratha zone. Okay, that Maratha zone created around the Pune, and who was the founder? Chhatrapati Shivaji. Okay, remember the date also 1674. Okay, 1674. Next, who led the Marathas at the third battle of Panipat? It's a very important question. What is the answer? Who led the Marathas at the third battle of Panipat? First, second, third battle Panipat happened, right? You should tell me this answer also, and you should tell the date when the third battle of Panipat happened. In which year? That also you need to tell me. Let me know in the comment section. In which year third battle of Panipat happened? Okay, let's see the answer first. Answer is D. Sadasiv Rao Bahu. Okay. Sadasiv Rao, he led the Maratha Confederation in the Third Battle of Panipat. Okay. So this Third Battle of Panipat happened in 1761. Okay. We need to remember the year. 1761, Third Battle of Panipat happened. And between whom? So one side Maratha, that is true. One side Maratha is sure. Another side, who was there? Afghanistan King Ahmad Shah Durrani was there, right? You need to remember all those facts. Okay. So it happened between the Afghanistan's Durrani King, and with the Marathas. Okay. So it happened in 1761. And who led the Maratha army during the Third Battle of Panipat? That is Sadasiv Rao Bahu. Okay. So these facts you need to remember about the Third Battle of Panipat. Okay. Next. Who among the following was the lowest in rank in the Maratha infantry? Who among the following was the lowest in rank in the Maratha infantry? So what is the answer? Any guesses? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A, Nayak. Okay. So Nayak, it was the lowest in rank in the Maratha infantry. This Havaldar, Jumaldar, Hajari. So these are comes in a highest ranking. But below all this, there was Nayak. Okay, so Nayak, it is in the lowest rank under the Maratha infantry. Okay, we need to remember Nayak. So next, in the third battle of Panipat, Marathas were defeated by. Just now I told you, right? You need to answer this. In the third battle of Panipat, Marathas were defeated by who? Just now I told you na in the previous question. So what is the answer? Okay, guys, let's see the answer. Answer is the Afghans. Just now I told you, right? Third Battle of Panipat happened in 1761 between the Marathas and Afghan ruler Durrani, right? So Marathas were defeated by the Afghan ruler Durrani. So that's why he from Afghan. Answer is Afghan. Okay. In the Third Battle of Panipat, Marathas were defeated by Afghans. See, in the Third Battle of Panipat, Marathas were defeated by the Afghans. Battle of Panipat fought on January 14, 1761 between the forces of the Maratha Confederacy, which was led by the Sadasiv Rao Bahu, and the coalition of the kings of Afghanistan, basically Ahmad Shah Durrani. Okay, so this Ahmad Shah Durrani, also known as Ahmad Shah Abdali. Okay, in examination, both names might come. Ahmad Shah Abdali, Ahmad Shah Durrani. Both are same. Okay, don't get confused with these two names. Ahmad Shah Abdali and Ahmad Shah Durrani is the same person, and he is from Afghanistan. Okay, and also along with the Ahmad Shah Abdali, two Indian Muslim allies were there in the third battle of Panipat. That is Rohilla Afghans of the Doab and the Nawab Awad. That is Shuja ud Dawla. So Rohilla Afghans of the Dawab also there in the third battle of Panipat, and Shuja ud Dawla was also there with the Ahmad Shah Durrani. Okay, so these allies fought against the Marathas and they defeated the Marathas in the third battle of Panipat. Okay, so remember the date, very, very important, 14th January 1761. Okay, so remember that. Next, who among the following Maratha officers looked after the revenue department? So what is the answer? Who among the following Maratha officers looked after the revenue department? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is B, Amatyas. See, Amatyas are the Maratha officers. They looked after the revenue department. Okay, next. In Shivaji's Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister was called. In Shivaji's Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister was called what? What is the answer? Let's see the answer. Answer is A, Peshwa. I told you, right, while discussing the Sahu questions, that is it, first question itself. I told you, right? Sahu was like a king, like a president, and Peshwas are like a prime minister. Okay. In the Shivaji's Council of Ministers, the prime minister was called Peshwa. Remember that. See, in Shivaji's time, the king was the supreme head of the state. He was assisted by the Council of Ministers known as the Ashtapradhana. So why it is called as Ashtapradhana? Because 8 people were there in the Council of Ministers of the Shivaji. Okay, the Prime Minister or the Mukhya Pradhana was called as the Peshwa. Okay, so Mukhya Pradhana, Prime Minister, all are same. So the name of that position is Peshwa. Okay, remember Peshwa. In the cavalry of Shivaji, a Jumla commanded how many Havaldars? In the cavalry of Shivaji, a Jumla commanded how many Havaldars? Whether it is 9, 10, 15 or 5. Let's see the answer. Answer is D, 5 Havaldars. Okay. On top of the 5 Havaldars, there will be one Jumla. Okay. A Jumla. I hope you are getting my point. Okay. A Jumla is like an officer. Okay. He was an officer in the cavalry of Shivaji. Under him, 5 Havaldars will be there. So that's why it is there. That's what it is explained here. So read it carefully. So in the cavalry of Shivaji, a Jumla was there. He was commanded the 5 Havaldars. The most significant part of his army was Paga on the state cavalry that we discussed, right, in the previous question, what is Paga and all. And there were 2 classes of the cavalry that also we discussed, Bargirs and Siladars, right? So there were regular grades in the cavalry. The unit formed by 25 troops over the 25 troopers. And there was a Havaldar. 5 Havaldars were placed under the Jumaldar and over 10 Jumaldars. Okay, so that you need to remember. This is like a hierarchical system. Okay, like how we have studied Sahu and under him Peshwa and under him Council of Minister, like how the hierarchy was there. In the army system also there was hierarchy. Jumaldar, Havaldars, these Bargirs and Silardars. So a Jumla is an officer who is commanded by the who is commanded to the 5 Havaldars. Okay, so that you need to remember. Next, the Maratha artillery was mainly organized by. The Maratha artillery was mainly organized by whom? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is C, Ibrahim Khan Ghardi. Okay, so remember his name, very famous name, you need to remember. The Maratha artillery was mainly organized by the Ibrahim Khan Ghardi. Remember that name, Ibrahim Khan Ghardi. Okay, next. The Maratha power reached its zenith during the Peshwaship of. The Maratha power reached its zenith during the Peshwaship of which ruler? Zenith means highest peak. You can say high level of development, high level of conquest. During which rule the Maratha power reached its zenith? What is the answer? So let's see the answer. Answer is B, Balaji 2. Okay, the Maratha power reached its zenith. Zenith means like highest peak. You can say high level of development, high level of conquest. Okay, so it reached such zenith during the Peshwa of Balaji II. The Maratha state under him reached its territorial zenith extending from Kutch to Attock. And in July 76, the Maratha occupies the Delhi also. Okay, so Zenith, I told you, right? It's like a development, conquest. Lot of conquest happened during the Balaji too, and he was a very strong ruler, very famous ruler. He conquered lot of the regions. In fact, he even occupied the Delhi also. Who was there in the Delhi? Mughals were there, right? So he occupied the Mughals kingdom also. So that's why you need to remember under the Balaji too, the Maratha power reached its zenith. Okay, next. Consider the following statements and you need to find out which statements are correct during using the codes given below. So first statement says, in Shivaji's domain, Chowth was mainly a military contribution. And second, Shivaji demanded Sardeshmukhi on the basis of his claim as the hereditary Sardeshmukh of Maharashtra. So what is the correct answer here? So read two statements carefully and try to give the answers using the codes given below. Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is C. Both statements are correct. Okay. See here, what is the first statement? In Shivaji's domain, Chowth was mainly a military contribution. Yes, it is true. Okay, Chowth and Sardeshmukhi, two kinds of taxation system was there. Two kinds of system was there. It was Chowth was mainly related to the what? Military. Okay. Next, in second statement, Shivaji demanded Sardeshmukhi on the basis of his claim as the hereditary Sardeshmukh of the Maharashtra. So that is also true. Okay. South was mainly related to the military contribution and the Sardeshmukhi related to the Sardeshmukhs of Maharashtra. Okay. That is hereditary Sardeshmukhs of the Maharashtra. So that's why both the statements are true regarding these Chauth and Sardeshmukhi. Okay. Next question. Who among the following Maratha Peshwas followed the ideal of Hindu Pad Padshahi? What is the answer? Who among the following Maratha Peshwas followed the ideal of Hindu Padshahi? Let's see the answer. Answer is B, Bajirao 1. Okay. So this Bajirao 1 followed the ideal of Hindu Padshahi. Okay. Next. On which aspect of medieval Indian history have Haveli, Ferguson, and Percy Brown written? They're written about what? Literature, art and architecture, administration, socio-economic history. So what is the answer? On which aspect of medieval Indian history this Percy Brown, Ferguson, and Haveli have written the books? On which aspect they have focused on? What is the answer? Let's see the answer. Answer is B, art and architecture. Okay, so they have written their workings on the art and architecture of the medieval Indian history. Okay, next. Who among the following Maratha women led struggles against the Mughal Empire from 700 onwards? Who among the following Maratha women led struggles against of Maratha Mughal Empire from 1700 AD onwards? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is Tarabai. Okay, so Tarabai, very strong Maratha, queen. She was a very strong Maratha queen. She led the struggles against the Mughal Empire from 1700 onwards. Okay, she took the throne, in fact. Okay, next. The Treaty of Purandar between Shivaji and Raja Jai Singh took place in which year? The Treaty of Purandar between Shivaji and Raja Jai Singh took place in which year? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A, 1665. Okay, so this Treaty of Purandar, here you need to remember 2 points. Okay, so Treaty of Purandar that happened between the with whom two kings, with two of which kings, one is Shivaji, another one is Raja Jai Singh. Okay, that 1 point. Another point you need to remember here is in which year it happened, 1665. Okay, so Treaty of Purandar that happened between Raja Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji and Raja Jai Singh. So that happened in 1665. Okay, so these 2 points you need to remember. Next, the Maratha kingdom was founded by Shivaji during the reign of which ruler? So what is the answer? The Maratha kingdom was founded by Shivaji. That we know. But during the reign of which king he developed one kingdom? So that is the question. Whether it is Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Akbar, Shah Jahan or Aurangzeb. Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, Aurangzeb. Okay, so even though you don't know the answer, you need to guess. Okay, so we have studied throughout the history, that is in the medieval history, what we studied. After the Mughal Empire, the Maratha Empire occupied the Delhi. Okay, that we understood. So after the Mughal Empire, it means after the last, strong ruler of the Mughal Empire, Marathas will come. So by that point, you need to guess the correct answer here. See, Muhammad bin Tughlaq could not be the answer. It will not be the answer because Tughlaq's, he does not belongs to the Mughals. Okay, so that is not the answer. Next, Akbar and Shah Jahan. They were very strong rulers, but after the Akbar and Shah Jahan, another famous ruler will come. He was Aurangzeb, right? So after the Aurangzeb only, the Mughal kingdom started declining because of weak rulers after him. Okay, so you need to remember after the Aurangzeb, the Shivaji founded the Maratha kingdom, or you can say during the reign of Aurangzeb, he founded the Maratha kingdom. Okay, so remember Aurangzeb. That's how you, even though you don't know the correct answer, you can guess. Okay, in examination also, you need to guess some questions. Next, which one among the following thinkers argued that Maratha rule in general and Shivaji in particular represented early nationalist consciousness in India? Which one among the following thinkers argued that Maratha rule in general and Shivaji in particular represented the early nationalist consciousness in India. Who said like that? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D. Gopalakrishna Gokhale. Okay, so he argued that Maratha rule in general and Shivaji in particular, he represented the early nationalist consciousness in India. Okay, so Gopalakrishna Gokhale was a senior leader of the Indian National Congress and founder of the Servants of India Society. Here, another points are coming you need to remember about the Gopalakrishna Gokhale. So what you need to remember here is Servants of India, it was a society that we studied in modern history, right? So that Servants of India society was founded by the Gopalakrishna Gokhale. He was a senior leader of Indian National Congress. And according to him, Maratha rule in general and Shivaji in particular, they represented the early national spirit and consciousness in India. Because the national spirit will come, because a lot of the historians say that the national spirit in India will come only during the modern history. But Gokhale said it's not only during the modern history, it was started during the Maratha rule itself. So that's why he told that Maratha rule in general. Okay, if you talk about in general, so Maratha rule in general, and if you talk about particular, then Shivaji is the particular. They started the early nationalist consciousness in India because they fought for their country, right? So they thought these Mughal people were foreign people, they occupied the India. So that's what they thought. So it is like a nationalist consciousness, right? So that's why Gokhale identified it. Okay, so remember Gopalakrishna Gokhale argued like that. Next, after the death of Shivaji, there was a fight for succession between which two rulers? After the death of Shivaji, there was a fight for succession between which ruler? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is C, Rajaram and Sambhaji. Okay, so this after the death of the Shivaji, there was the fight for succession to get the throne between the Rajaram and Sambhaji. Okay, so Chhatrapati Shivaji, his period was 613 and 1618. Okay, he had the two heirs for throne. So heirs are nothing but his sons. The eldest son is Sambhaji. Okay, he was very irresponsible person towards the subjects, and so the younger son Rajaram was crowned later. So that's why the fighting happened between the Rajaram and Sambhaji after the death of Shivaji. Okay. Next, the Maratha claim of revenue for protection is known by what name? What is the answer? The Maratha claim for revenue for protection is known by what name? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A, Sardeshmukhi. So these Maratha people, they claimed the revenue for the protection. It was known by Sardeshmukhi. Okay. Sardeshmukhi was a charge equal to 1/10 of the land revenue. Okay, so you need to remember Sardeshmukhi was a charge. In fact, it is a protection charge. It was equal to the 1/10 of the land revenue. Okay, with the hereditary Deshmukh. In the time of Mughals, they kept to himself in return for the collection of the revenue and the maintenance of law and order in the territory allotted to him. Okay, so this Sardeshmukhi is given to the Deshmukhs. Okay, so you need to remember that. So Sardeshmukhi was charged equal to the 1/10 of the land revenue. That also you need to remember. And Sardeshmukhi is a revenue for protection. That also you need to remember. 2 points. Okay. Next, Shivaji died in the year of, which year he died? Which year Shivaji died? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, 1680. In the previous question also I discussed, right? His period. Can you remember? Shivaji died in the year of 1680. So specifically if we talk about, then April 3, 1680, Shivaji died. He was 50 years of age during his time of death. Okay. He died at the Raigad. So that also you need to remember. The place where Shivaji died, it was Raigad. So he died due to the high fever for the 3 weeks. Okay, he died due to the high fever. Then his son Sambhaji took over the title of the emperor of the Maratha Empire after the death of the Shivaji. Okay. Next, where was Shivaji finally crowned as Chhatrapati? So what is the answer? Where was Shivaji finally crowned as Chhatrapati? Which place he crowned as Chhatrapati? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D, Ahmednagar. Not in Pune, Kolhapur, Raigad. It is in Ahmednagar. He finally crowned as the Chhatrapati. In 1674, Shivaji was formally crowned as the Chhatrapati. Chhatrapati means monarch of his realm at the Ahmednagar. Okay, not Raigad. Next, consider the following statements about the Shivaji. And quotes are given. The first statement, he was simple and religious in his personal life. Second, he did not force any Muslim to embrace Hinduism. Third, he organized Marathas against the Mughal Empire. Okay, so using these statements, quotes are given. You need to find out the correct statements using the quotes given below. So what is the answer? Read the statements carefully once again and try to conclude the answer. What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D. All of the statements are correct. All of the above statements are correct. 1, 2, and 3. So what is 1? He was simple and religious in his personal life. That is true. Okay, it is very personal detail about the Shivaji. And second statement, he did not force any Muslim to embrace Hinduism. That is very obvious because he was a very big, protector of Hinduism. So that's why he did not force any Muslim to embrace Hinduism. And third, he organized Marathas against the Mughal Empire. That is a very well-known fact, right? After the Mughal declination only, the Maratha people had grown, very powerfully. Maratha kingdom had grown very powerfully. So because of that, all these statements are correct. Okay. Next. Who was called Chanakya of Maratha politics? Who was called Chanakya of Maratha politics? So what is the answer? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is B, Nana Padnavis, or you can say Nana Padnavis. So Nana Padnavis is called as Chanakya of Maratha politics. was a very famous, very famous scholar who was there in the Maratha court. So because of that, he was called as Chanakya of Maratha politics. Next. Who among the following was killed by Shivaji? Who among the following was killed by Shivaji? What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is Afzal Khan. Okay, so Afzal Khan got killed by the Shivaji. Next. Which one among the following wars ended by the Treaty of Salbai? What is the answer? Which one among the following wars ended by the Treaty of Salbai? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A, First Maratha War. That is First Anglo-Maratha War that got ended with the Treaty of Salbai. Okay, then Treaty of Salbai was signed on 17 May 1782. Okay, you need to remember the date, 17 May 1782, and was ratified by the Hastings in June 1782, and also from the Maratha side by Nana Fadnavis in February 1783. Okay, so this treaty ended the First Anglo-Maratha War. So you need to remember 17 May 1782. Treaty of Salbai happened between the Englishers and Marathas. Next, match the following. List 1 and list 2 are given and codes are given below. You need to match them correctly. Here in the list 1, years are given 1627 AD, 1659 AD, 1666 AD, 1674 AD. In list 2, events are given. Shivaji crowned himself at Raigad and assumed the title of Maharaja Chhatrapati. Escape of Shivaji from Agra. Birth of Shivaji. Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji. Okay, so 2 lists are given. You need to match them using the codes given below. So what is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is B. 3, 4, 2, 1 is the correct answer. Okay, so look at here. First, what is the year? 1627. Okay, look at the list 1. 1627 AD, that is the birth of Shivaji. Okay, in the 1627 AD, Shivaji got birth. Okay, birth of Shivaji. Next, 1659 AD. Okay, 1659 AD, Afzal Khan was killed by the Shivaji. Okay, Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji. Next is 1666. Okay, 1666, escape of Shivaji from the Agra port. Okay, that event happened in 1666. So next is 1674. So 1674, Shivaji crowned himself at Raigad and assumed the title of Maharaja Chhatrapati. Okay, so these are the very important life events of the Shivaji. So that's why B is correct answer. 3, 4, 2, 1 is the correct match. Okay. Okay, next. Consider the following statements. 4 statements are given and you need to find the correct answer using the codes given below. So first statement, Shivaji could check the Deccan power introducing to his Swaraja. Sorry, I can't see here because of the Swaraj territory. Okay. Next, he could plunder Surat in 1664. Third, he could withstand the attack of Shaista Khan and Mirza Raja Jai Singh. And fourth, Bijapur and Golconda were annexed by the Mughals to undermine the position of Shivaji. So, which statements are correct here? You need to find it using the codes given below. Let's see the answer. Answer is D, 3 and 4. So 1, 2 is not correct. 3 and 4 are correct. See, one small correction. Here they are asking which statements are not correct. Okay. So first and second statements are correct. 3 and 4 statements are wrong. So that's why answer is 3 and 4. Okay. So while reading the question, also read carefully. Here they are asking which of the following given statements are not correct. Okay. First, I would check the Deccan power introduced into his Swaraj territory. So that is true. Okay, so he can check the Deccan power because he was the Chhatrapati there. Next, he could plunder Surat in 1664. That happened. That was a very important life event during the Shivaji. Okay, so first and second statements are correct. Okay, so next, see the third statement. So what it is telling in the third statement, he could withstand the attacks of Shaista Khan and Mirza Raja Jai Singh. That is not correct. And Bijapur and Gonda were annexed by the Mughals to undermine the position of Shivaji. So those things are also not correct. Okay. So that's why the answer is 3 and 4. Okay. Next. Next question. Guys, can anybody tell me, am I audible to you? Am I audible? Am I audible to you? Okay, thank you guys. You are audible to me. Then fine, I will start the session. Okay, so our next question is, consider the following statements. So Balaji Bajirao was popularly known as Nana Sahib. And second thing is Nana Padnavis was called Chanakya of Maratha. And third is Ramdas was the guru of Shivaji. So which of the following statements is or are correct? Okay, regarding the Shivaji. So four options are given. What is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is D. All are correct. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Balaji Bajirao was popularly known as Nana Sahib. That is true. Then Nana Padnavis was called Chanakya of Maratha. That we recently studied, right? That is true. Then Ramdas was the guru of Shivaji. Consider the following statements about the Treaty of Purandar. Okay. So here, four statements are given about the Treaty of Purandar and quotes are given. Okay. So first statement, Shivaji had surrendered 23 out of 35 forts to the Mughals. Okay. So that is the first statement. So next statement, concentration here. Shivaji agreed to send his son Shambhaji in service of the Mughal emperor. Third, Shambhaji was granted a mansab of 5,000. Next, fourth one, Shivaji assisted the Mughal commander during the Bijapur expedition. Okay, so four statements are given. You need to find out which statements are true regarding the Treaty of Purandar. Okay, I hope you are audible now. What is the answer? You are audible, right? Can anybody tell me, are you audible? Yes. Okay, thank you. Here, let's see the correct answer. Correct answer is all. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All these statements are true regarding the Treaty of Purandar. Okay. So first statement, what it is saying, Shivaji had to surrender 23 out of 35 forts to the Mughals. So total 35 forts were there with Shivaji. He had to surrender 23 forts to the Mughals. That is true. Second statement, Shivaji agreed to send his son Sambhaji in service of the Mughal emperor because Shivaji got defeated by the Mughals. So that's why he had to send his son Sambhaji in service to the Mughal emperor. Okay, that is true. Next, third statement, Sambhaji was granted a mansab of 5,000. Okay, so that is also true. Next, Shivaji assisted the Mughal commanders during the Bijapur expeditions. So that's why all the statements given here are true regarding the Treaty of Purandar. Okay. So next, who among the following Maratha captain helped the Sayyid brothers in dethroning the Emperor Farrukhsiyar? So what is the answer? Who among the following Maratha chieftains helped the Sayyid brothers in dethroning the Emperor Farrukhsiyar? So what is the answer? Okay, let's see the answer. Answer is A. Balaji Vishwanath. So Balaji Vishwanath, he was the Maratha chief. He helped the Sayyid brothers in dethroning the Emperor Farrukh Shah. Okay, so these Sayyid brothers, they dethroned the Farrukh Shah. So in that process, this Maratha chief Balaji Vishwanath helped them. Okay, he helped to whom? He helped the Sayyid brothers in the dethroning of Farrukh Shah Emperor. Okay. So in this topic, we learned the medieval history, Maratha kingdom. If you have any doubts regarding this, let me know in the comment section. And another one small correction is there, that is Shivaji got Chhatrapati title in the Raigad. Okay, so he first got the Chhatrapati title and he started ruling as the Chhatrapati. It all started from Raigad. Okay, not from Ahmednagar. That you need to clearly remember. It is from Raigad. So apart from this, any questions? Any doubts? Okay. So I assume there are no doubts. Thank you so much and see you in the next class. Okay. Bye.